All right, welcome to the Creation to Cash Flow podcast. On this podcast, we discuss strategies for content creators and entrepreneurs to improve your mindset so that you can achieve financial freedom and go do amazing things with your life and feel abundant while doing it. Ever since we changed it around episode 100, I always say something slightly different in the beginning. It feels pretty good actually to have a little wiggle room. We have a really good episode for you guys today. We're doing an AYQ episode where we answer your questions. But first, the most important question of them all. How's it going, Michelle?
It's great. I am getting ready to leave for Miami at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so I am excited. If anyone heard us a couple weeks ago, we recorded on a Tuesday, and I was so off my A game because I do a no talk Tuesday. So I'm very curious how today is going to pan out. I think this is my first time talking today, so if I sound like I'm just waking up, my brain's not awake and my voice hasn't quite done it yet. But other than that, I'm excited for Miami. I'm excited for a little change of scenery, even though I love my scenery, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I forgot you do No Talk Tuesday. Such a funny thing. That sounds really nice, honestly. I haven't shut the fuck up today, so this is this is on par for me. It's interesting. It's been brought to my attention many times recently. I guess how difficult it is to talk constantly and be talking to so many people and be open on live calls and things because other people will like step in for one and be like, "Oh, that was tiring," and I'm like, "Really? I do two in a day, and I host 6 hours of other meetings." So I guess I'm just used to always talk Tuesday and all the other days as well.
Yeah, it's a gift you have. It really is.
Anyway, I'm excited for your Miami trip. You need a nice vacation. I think we all do. It'll be interesting to see how you fare being away for so long. Even though it's not that long, it might feel long for you since you haven't done that kind of like a leisure trip in a while. So I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, the only places I ever go is like Tennessee and Texas. So um, I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited to see what I'm going to learn.
I'm excited for you to share it on the podcast next week. So anyway, let's start to dive in to the question for today. It is a two-parter actually. So I'm gonna share it with you guys. We're gonna listen and then we're gonna answer.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Michelle. First, I want to say that I absolutely love this podcast. I will literally listen to it and it gets me in the mindset. Michelle, your takes on ADHD just make me feel so heard. Like, I've always known, like, everyone has ADHD, but I just feel like we have the same type of ADHD. So, your advice has been so helpful, especially like when you say, just take the day sometimes. Like, I definitely need to listen to that. But I do have a question, guys. Sorry. My question is right now I am going to be starting content creation for businesses in my town. I started content creation back in 2022 with Brands and Creators with Nick. And now later down the road, I now have multiple businesses that want me to do it. And it's just such a change. Some of them like know me through word of mouth. So pricing, I just feel like is really hard because some of these business owners are older and, they're just getting a feel for content creation. But I would just love some advice for taking this off the phone. And now I'm bringing out into the real world. My next question was I have not done anything with TikTok Shop. I've heard amazing things about it and I kind of want to learn about it because I want that to be some passive income while I'm working with these businesses and things are, starting slow. I want any recommendations for courses or how I can go about learning TikTok Shop?
All right, awesome questions. And interestingly enough, I know a lot of our listeners are probably thinking like, "Oh, I don't know if this is going to apply to me too much." Sit down. This is this is going to, because essentially, like, yes, she asked questions that were very specific to what she has going on, but what we're going to address is the underlying questions and things, right? She's looking at these two potential roads. She doesn't know how to price certain things. There's just a little bit of uncertainty in the air. And Jenna, one, thank you so much for the kind words. I'm super excited to dive in and answer these questions for you. But for all of our other listeners as well, I want you guys to see that the underlying question is all related to the value that she provides. So, what we're going to talk about today is going to answer her question, but also it's going to set a lot of you up for success and uncover some things that you probably weren't even thinking about. And essentially, we're going to talk about who are you trying to help and how are you going to help them and what value do you provide them. So, let's take a step back. A lot of people do what she has done and they start with the price. They're like, all right, well, here's what I want to charge. And then you just try and figure out what things you can add in to make it worth that much. Because she was like, what do I charge for this kind of thing? But the real question you should be asking is, what value are you hoping to provide your customers? That's where we need to begin. Michelle, how does that sit?
You just said a lot. At what part do you want me to sit with?
Essentially, the part of, like, everyone starts with pricing. They start with like what they could charge when they should be starting with what they can offer and what value that they have to provide.
Yeah, I mean, we always say everything is so subjective and just dependent on the person and the person you're working with. Like everything changes in terms of pricing. I do want to say though, Jenna, that made my entire day. I'm so happy to hear that. And as somebody with ADHD, you doing these things is exactly what I do as well. If you have help, if you have assistance, I love that you're pursuing these different things because you're able to tap into your gifts and your loves and your callings and like everything you love doing without being overwhelmed whenever you have people that help you with these things. So I hope you do have that before trying to do all these different things. But in terms of like the value you provide, that is everything. Like that is how I started as a business owner is if people have heard the podcast, they know. If not, in 2020, when the world shut down, I lived in a small Louisiana town, and a lot of people had mom and pop shops, similar, like they were older. Some of them just weren't technologically savvy. My gosh. They weren't techie, I'll say that. And they needed a website. They needed to get a social media platform because they could not open their physical doors to the world. And I started helping out people I knew and started creating things for completely free because I wanted to help them. And they started telling their friends, similar to Jenna, word of mouth, where I was like, oh my God, I need to start charging. Like, I love staying up till 2 a.m. and then going to my day job and doing this on the side, but like, it's not realistic long term. And I was charging the minimum until I could learn like what is the value I'm providing. But at the end of the day, the value I cared about most was, am I helping others? Because that makes me feel fulfilled and attracts the money afterwards. And so I just want to say, like, whatever you do, even if it is TikTok shop, whatever any listener is doing, think about what impact you're making. That is the most important thing to always make sure you're keeping at the forefront of your mind. Like, what is my impact? What is my value I'm providing? Not just in terms of to get money, but like ethically and morally and being a human. Like, what value do I provide?
What value do I provide and what impact am I looking to have? Great questions to ask. But Jenna, or all of our listeners, most people make the mistake of not closely tracking that. I see so many successful entrepreneurs that don't have any good tracking in place, and therefore they struggle to figure out what to charge. They sometimes are overworking for not enough money, or they're underworking and getting paid too great, and then wonder why the deal ends up falling apart later down the line when it's time to renew. So, whether you're Jenna or whether you're one of our other listeners, you need to be thinking about, yes, like what value and impact do I want to provide? But how am I actually tracking if I've delivered that or not? So, let's put ourselves in Jenna's shoes. She's going to go approach one of these businesses. Let's say it's a bakery that's down the street from her. Yes, like the goal for you, Jenna, is to land the largest deal possible. But that's not how the bakery sees it. The bakery, their goal, and they might not even communicate this super well, but their ultimate goal, they might say that, like, oh, yeah, we want to build a social media presence. We want to do this. We want to do that. Their ultimate goal is probably just bring more customers in the store. So, in order for you, Jenna, or anyone, the bakery is hypothetical. I want everyone to be thinking about measuring these before and afters. You need to get a baseline right now of how many people are coming into that bakery every month. What are we starting at, so that, Jenna, you can then work on their social media for, let's say you do a 2-month contract with them. Afterwards, if you can't demonstrate that by you being the social media, whether you're the influencer or you're managing it or whatever the case may be, whatever your role is, if you can't demonstrate that it's bringing more people to their website, it's bringing more people in the bakery, it's leading to more people ordering things for their birthdays and holidays and things like that, they're not going to renew this contract. And you're going to have no actual proof to convince them to renew it. So this is a big mistake people make. Hopefully you are, at least you being our listeners, are at the point where you think about who you're trying to help, but you have to be tracking, are you actually helping them or not?
Yeah, and I think you said it at the beginning of this talking point, is like, what is the goal? They might not always communicate it, but it also depends on the business. Like, I had a client that I started with in 2020. It was a dance studio, a little dance studio, and their goal was honestly like, we don't need to necessarily get more students enrolled. What we really want is that parents see photos of their kids, that there's a website where they can easily find information for like recitals or getting like their new shoes or their leotards. And their goal was not results driven in the sense of, we need more numbers, because it's a small town. They only had so much room in the studio. But the goal was, we need ongoing social media presence because everyone else is doing that. So we need to live up to that so people want to stick around, not necessarily so we get more people. And then I was really 3 years, I think it was actually 4 years. I think I ended our contract last year because I stopped doing social media management. 4 years of happy client. And it was a very minimal package. I only posted 3 times a week on their socials. I would post on stories if they had like holidays or anything coming up. I would do that. I would keep their website updated. And it was an ongoing social media package. They were happy. It was simple to do. And our goals were aligned. Expectations were met. And I was able to keep that small package. So sometimes it's like, do you want to help out multiple small businesses with smaller packages, depending on if their goal is to keep customers happy? If it's to, like, if it's a bakery, for example, every food restaurant, whatever, needs an Instagram with highlights of each, what it looks like, the food, the drinks, what they look like, and what they're called. I hate whenever social media accounts don't have that. So if you're providing that for them and you're like keeping that updated, you could have it for 4 years. And it's like, you already know the language, it's simple. And you could have 5 businesses you're doing these little packages with, and it's simple for you. You can batch create, and it's fun. And so it's like, what are your goals too? And make sure that your passions align with whatever they're trying to achieve.
4 years, wow. That's such a good testament to not going too far in either direction. Like, you probably had such a good balance of like what I'm charging, what I'm providing, and what they want. And you probably were just living right in the middle of that. And it made you happy and it made them happy. And that's the best, things get a little out of whack when we are overcharging and then not delivering results. And unfortunately, like when it comes to social media management, a lot of people, they're just trying, like a lot of creators are just trying to get the biggest deal possible. But you have to think a little more long term than that. Because, Jenna, let's say with this bakery, sure, you might want $2,500 per month from this bakery, but like, and maybe you could get them to do that as well. And you start with a month. But after that, like, if they're not net positive from that and their main goal was to bring in customers, and again, chances are like they're probably not, because it takes a little bit of time for you to find your flow and get their social media going and get people wanting to come in. So sure, you might be happy because you landed a 2,500 deal. Meanwhile, if you started it at $1,000, and sure, that's a lot less for you, and I'm making these numbers up, but let's say you started it at $1,000 and month one is off to a slow start. Well, now month two, they're not immediately just looking to cut this and be like, oh, this isn't working, especially if you frame up to them like, hey, I would typically charge, $2,500 for a month of doing this because that's how much work it's going to take. But I'm going to start it at 1,000. And I just need you, the bakery people, the bakers, to lock in 3 months, because I could tell you month one is going to be slow. Month two, you're going to start to notice it. And month three, you're going to feel it. And I want to make sure that whatever we decide, we have at least 3 months of runway, because that's how much lag time it's going to take before we're really top of mind for everyone in this neighborhood.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get into like social media management, I highly recommend you take some ad courses as well. There are like free Google ad courses that Google provides. You could do some meta ad courses because that's gonna help speed up some of these results to show that you are worth it. And it does take time. Like even just to train the algorithm who your audience is, you have to communicate that. You have to know that and speak that in confidence. But for some of these smaller businesses, like my packages started at $500 a month back in 2020, and it was like, and those were the ones I actually started charging because it was free, and I would do 3 posts a week and post on stories and stuff, $500 a month. And I mean, for the goal to be just like awareness or just to kind of generate that ongoing presence, that's a good price. That is 2020 pricing though. Obviously inflation and things have been risen. But also my mortgage was only $1,100 a month back then. So I was making $30K working at a church a year, $30K a year. So for me to have extra $500 was like winning the freaking lottery. And then I had several clients at that price. That was what I needed. I could have charged more, quote unquote. I could have been all crazy and like gone above and beyond and tried to make the most, but that wasn't my intention. My intention was to help these businesses and grow in my own marketing skills, and also just kind of have some money on the side to buy toothpaste, because I didn't have money to buy toothpaste, as I said last week in our episode. So yeah, I think it's also like be realistic with what you actually need too. Like don't be so greedy that you're now overworking yourself and not delivering on what you've communicated you would deliver on.
That's super good advice. I love the toothpaste story as well. Super inspiring. Um, all right, I want to take this in a slightly different direction now. The direction I want to take it now is a little bit more down this path of like, are we on the right path actually? Because it was very interesting hearing when me and Michelle listened to this and we listened to part one, we were like, okay, this is a pretty good question. This is podcastable. And by the way, you guys can submit your questions at creationtocashflow.com. And even if you say it and it's not super podcastable, you could try again. Or if we really like it, but we just need it to be more podcastable, we'll just reach out and be like, hey, can you just submit that one more time? But anyway, you guys can get an episode like this made for you by going to creationtocashflow.com and submitting your own voice memo. This show is free. We don't run any ads. All we ever ask is that you participate and you show some love. We're super close on Spotify to 55-star reviews. I think we've got like 44. So if you're listening to this, you haven't done it yet, get us there. Let's see if we can get to 50. You guys love this show. You guys are constantly telling us how much you love this show. Much more than 44 of you. That's for sure. I know I've heard it from tons of you, but we don't have that many 5-star reviews. So if you're listening on Spotify, or if you could just go on Spotify and do that, it would be great. We don't want to have to start running ads. We don't want that to be why we do the show. We want to do it for you guys. So we need you to participate and send that love our way. But anyway, the direction I want to take this now. After part 1, I was like, okay, awesome. But then part 2, I was like, uh-oh, we got a little shiny object syndrome happening. Because she was like, well, also I want to do TikTok shop because I see that happening. And yes, you could do more than one thing at once, especially as a content creator. It's very useful to sometimes have your hands in a few places, but these are two completely different things, and we're starting from almost zero at both of them. And I promise, like, when one starts to get good, the other's going to pull you in that direction, and you're just going to be in this constant tug of war. And that's a really difficult place to be in. So what I want you to think about, hopefully this quote by Seth Godin, who is like a marketing god. He's written 20 plus books on business and marketing. Hopefully this quote helps you think of it. Don't find customers for your products. Find products for your customers. And the reason I wanted to share that is because it's essentially like everyone is just looking for someone to sell something to. They're looking for customers for their products. You're looking for, oh my God, I could sell some stuff to people on TikTok shop. I could sell to a local business. I could do this. I could do that. When instead, the second half of the quote, find products for your customers. That's essentially saying, step back, find a solution, find the thing you're best at and that you can provide and who you can best provide it for. And that's what you should be doing. And you should go and share that with the people.
Exactly. And that goes to show what I did in 2020. My people in my community needed social media management. They needed website design. What did I do? I went on YouTube University and I searched how to make Squarespace websites, I searched for custom embedded codes for specific things. I would spend hours, again, I would stay up till 2 a.m. most nights just working on this, growing and learning, because that's what they needed. Did I stick with website design? No. Am I happy I know it? Heck yeah, because I'm able to help people every now and then, and even our own websites. And it's just like, that is a skill that no one can take away from me. Like, I think that is such a priceless thing to know. So it's like, what is it that people are needing, and how can I be of service to help them get what they need? And then, yeah, sure, the money comes, but like, that's not why I ever did it. I did it because that's what they needed. That's the value that they needed, someone to step in and fill. And I was like, I volunteer as tribute. Let me learn. Let me grow in this and help you. And I cared, and I still care more about people and stuff than I do about money. Even though now I have some money, it's like I still don't take that as a priority. It's even less of a priority because I know that's not where joy comes in. So it's like, what is it, that quote is just so good. What is it that you're providing, and like, what is it that they need?
I'm reading this book right now called The Secrets to Innovation at Microsoft, and I don't really recommend that all of our listeners read it. It's like a really deep business book, and if you're interested in that kind of thing, great. Like, if you feel like your business is getting stagnant and you need to understand like business innovation more, then it's a really good option. Um, but it's not like the 5 a.m. club where I'm like, if you have a heartbeat, you need to read that. But anyway, I'm getting a lot of really valuable lessons and insights from it. One of the stories is all about Xbox and how Xbox essentially has made a lot of mistakes and done a lot of things right. So they've gone down both of those rabbit holes pretty much, where they've talked to their customers and figured out what are the problems you're facing, and then they go create solutions and share that, and it goes amazing. And then they've also gone down the rabbit hole of creating a product that they think people will want and they think is a really good idea, and then they go share it and they're trying to find customers for the product, and it does not go well at all, and it totally blows up in their face. So the theme, eh, they go really deep on it in the book. It's pretty interesting. But the theme is, you got to talk to people, and you got to figure out what problems they're having, and you got to go solve them. And what you provide, the value you provide and the solutions you provide will determine your pricing. Because if you're doing it so well that people are getting amazing results, you can raise your rates. You roll out a simple referral program, or even if not, even if you don't have a referral program, be so good that people are telling others about it. And the bakery that's next to the pizza place goes and tells the pizza place how great it's been when they see all this new foot traffic going into the bakery. And the pizza guy is like, how are you getting so many new customers this year? And they're like, we hired Jenna for social media management. And you need to be so good and so dedicated and start with that lower pricing, and then be so good and so undeniable and so irreplaceable that you can raise your rates, not to cripple the bakery and be like, aha, now you can't do it without me, but to find that happy balance. So you end up in a 4-year social media management relationship and everyone is happy and they're telling other people. So the value you provide will determine your pricing. And my recommendation is start low, exceed expectations, and then raise your rates.
Yeah. And if you can do it for free and still enjoy it, then that is a green flag that you're doing the right thing. Very similar to what Nick and I do with this podcast. We are on episode 105. We have never charged, we've never, like, we're literally spending money on the platforms, the website, the social media managers, the video editors. Like, we spend thousands a year, and we've never once had a paid ad or any money come in at all. No monetary value yet. Nothing is coming in. The thing is, we don't do it for that. However, I do feel like we're getting paid in these testimonies, hearing that we're making a difference, the value that we're able to help others have and get, and they get the money. That is, to me, that's payment. You know, these 5-star reviews are payment. So you have to ask yourself, okay, if I wasn't getting paid, would I still enjoy this? If I wasn't getting paid to share things I find on TikTok Shop, would I still share them? Like, before I became an Amazon influencer, because I didn't even know you could get paid for sharing things, I would literally post reviews and things I found on Amazon for fun. I was like loving sharing, like, oh, I found this water hose that crinkles up and it doesn't, like, you know, become all discombobulated. I didn't realize I could be sharing things and get commission for sharing them. I was just sharing things because I loved it for free. So that's how I knew deep in my soul, oh, this is a part of what I was wired to do. I love this stuff. So it's like, if you take a step back and you realize, am I doing things that I wouldn't necessarily be doing for free, but I'm doing them for the money? You got to second guess, should you be spending your time and efforts on that? Because your motivation's gonna run out, and then you're gonna want to pivot and see like a different shiny object and run towards it, and you're never gonna get far.
That was so powerful. I got 2 things. One, yeah, those crinkle up hoses are great. Fantastic. And also, I really like the part about if you're not willing to do it for free. That was such a mic drop. I didn't even know you were going to bring it back to our podcast, but like, you're right. We do this for free. This, like, the goal when we started this was not like, all right, like, let's see if we could get through the first year and then we're going to start running all these ads and selling all this stuff. Like, no, we were like, damn, we have good conversations. It would be really fun if we recorded these and shared them with the world. And so that was what we started doing. And so again, hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you are enjoying this podcast, pay us. Go pay your fee. Just hit the little 5-star button or drop a comment and an actual review and just help us grow the show. That's why we do it for you guys. Here's another direction we could go. Is there anything else you want to talk on that, like, work for free subject before I?
No, but I was gonna say another thing that if y'all want to help and do something, I know some of you guys have come up to me like, I've already left reviews, I've already done my 5 stars, like, what else can I do? The thing about our podcast is we've never done like paid ads or anything, even just to like tell other creators about it. One thing that would be super helpful is our social media. like, what are things that you see that maybe you would prefer us to be posting, or things that you see that you're like, you know what, like, I want a snippet that's different. Like, this would make me actually want to watch it. This would make me want to share it. Because the thing is, we don't post just to post. Like, we post because we want to remind you guys of these little nuggets that we share, or even help other creators and entrepreneurs that don't know about us find us. Some people just don't even know we exist. People in Brands Meet Creators Academy, which, by the way, if you want to learn about TikTok Shop, that's what you need to sign up for. But because we have all the courses. But people in our academy, they don't even realize we have a podcast, and they're with us at least 3 times a week, you know, like live and coaching calls. And so it's like, we, I think, don't promote it a lot, but we want to know, are there things that you guys see that would make it easier to watch, share, save, things you want us to post to be reminded, like reminding you of the things we share? We want to hear your feedback, like any feedback, constructive criticism. Like, it won't hurt our feelings because we're literally doing it for you. So let us know. Send us an email. Like, send us a DM. We want to know how we can help you guys.
That was such a good idea. Yeah, you got all of our links are below. You could go to creationofcashflow.com and you could type in a message there. You could send a voice note. You could DM me or Michelle on Instagram or TikTok. I think I prefer Instagram, but I'll see it no matter what, probably. Michelle might not. Okay, yeah, send it to me. Send it to me. DM me on Instagram if you have a response or thought on that, because yeah, like you said, we do this podcast for you guys. Even though like we do it and we enjoy it, it's not we wouldn't have to record it if it wasn't for you guys. You know, I get to talk to Michelle plenty of times per week already, but the reason we record it is so that you guys can benefit from it. So anyway, that was a really good share. Good thinking, Michelle. All right, I'll take us the direction I wanted to go now. Pivoting. Pivoting in your business and how often you should be doing it. The biggest mistake that most entrepreneurs make is not doing. Alex Hormozy taught me this, and it really, really landed, because at the time I was also like, oh, I should do more brand deals. I should do more LinkedIn outreach. I should build my life coaching business more. I should do this more. The biggest mistake that most entrepreneurs make is not staying focused and doing the boring, repetitive thing for long enough. So whether you decide it's TikTok Shop, whether you decide it's the bakery, imagine it's actually a bakery that she's potentially working with. That would be so convenient. No matter what it is, and if you're our listener, like, take a look at how many different things you're trying to do, and take note of, have you been at it long enough before pivoting? Like, if it's been less than 3 years and you're pivoting because something is not working, you're pivoting for the wrong reason. Jenna mentioned that she has known me since 2022, so she's checking the box. It's been 3 years. If you want to make a little pivot, go ahead. And that's a soft rule that I'm assigning, right? If you've been at something for 2 years and you know it's not working because it's outside your zone of genius or outside of your passions, okay, maybe it is time to change that. But a lot of the time, like, building a big business and becoming wealthy, it gets boring and repetitive. And eventually you kind of plateau. And your options then are pivot, drop it all, start something new, and go back to being a beginner, or get some help, get some coaching, change your mindset, change your attitude, and find something you could do to break through the ceiling and get to the next level. Have you ever felt that way? I've been like stuck at the crossroads of pivoting many times, and I could give a good story of that. In It was last year, we were doing this podcast. It was probably like February when I went to Costa Rica the first time. January was a huge month for my like life/business coaching company, and like a $25,000 month. Only spent like 8K on ads to do it. It was super solid. I was like, okay, we're really onto something here. Yet Brands Meet Creators was really starting to blow up. And I was kind of, it wasn't so much a pivot, more like the kind of situation Jenna would probably love to find herself in. Like, oh, the working with businesses is going great. TikTok Shop is going great, but you can't do everything forever. It was really taxing on my mind and my body. And you would never notice if you just go back and listen to like the podcast or anything like that. I'm still me. I'm still going to show up and drop these bombs of amazing knowledge. Like that's just who I am. But it was a lot. And I had to look at these paths and be like, only one of these can be giant. Like I could have these two small things, but like I can't have them both be giant. And one of them's got to go. And I decided that I was going to step back from my life and business coaching company, and I dropped almost all my clients except for like 2 or 3 that I still work with, and we built Brands Meet Creators to be a giant, and honestly, Brands Meet Creators would have been much more giant had I done that sooner, because everyone has heard the saying, you've probably heard it from me, if you chase 2 rabbits, you will catch none. Sure, if you're super like young and athletic and have a lot of time, maybe you'll catch 2 rabbits. Maybe you will. But you can't hold on to them both forever, because this analogy is going really deep, but like if you catch 2 rabbits, your hands are full. What are you going to do with them? At some point you got to drop one and be like, okay, this is the rabbit I don't know what you do in the analogy. I assume you're going to like eat the rabbit.
Oh no. Oh God.
No, what are you catching them for then?
To have as a pet and cuddle.
Maybe. Okay. Well, you can't keep them both as a pet because you're holding 2. So like you don't have any free hands to go back in your house and put it in a nice fluffy cage and take care of it for forever and give it an amazing life. So at some point you got to drop one and be like, all right, like there's my other hand so that I can use it for this. So hopefully that makes sense for Jenna, and anyone who's doing 2 things is like, sure, there's benefits to like being diversified and like, ooh, like I get a little from here, a little from here, and that creates your income stability. But at some point, and even if it's a little painful, the sooner you cut off the one and just go all in on the other, the bigger you can make it.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop doing website design and social media management, because I'm currently in school full time. I post on TikTok Shop. I do Amazon. I do UGC. I still do sponsored posts on my socials. I'm also the marketing director at Brands Meet Creators. I'm also posting for Brands Meet Creators and running a team. And it's like I am chasing mini rabbits and my bank account dwindles. And I can see why. It's because I'm doing all these other things. But I graduate in July. It's currently April, so that's going to end soon. I'm in the learning phase, not the earning phase. So it's like, okay, I know this will end. I know it's all for a reason. So I just want to encourage Jenna and everyone, like, even if you are doing multiple things, like, just don't expect to have good success with that. You'll learn a lot. You'll crash, but like, you'll take an experience from it. So it's not like you're like the worst person ever. Like, no, it happens. But the thing is too, like I said earlier, I have assistants. I have employees that help me. Otherwise, I would not be able to do all these things, like, at all. And there are things that I just cannot drop and will not drop. Like, I've tried to stop doing more of my own socials, and I felt like I lost every part of who I was. I was like, who am I? Because I feel like that is, if I had to drop everything in the entire world right now and pick up one of the things I just said, it would be, I need to keep posting. Like, because like Jenna said, I have things that I can say and do to help encourage others with ADHD. Will they pay? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, we all have like a reason we're here. We all have value to bring. And so it's like, okay, if there's one thing I have to stick with and not do all the others, I would still just be me, because that's the only thing I can do that is in my control. Amazon could go down, like, all these things could happen, right? But at the end of the day, I am me. I've learned what I've learned. I've gone through a lot to share the wisdom, and that cannot be taken away from me, and no one else can provide that. People can provide Amazon tips. People can provide marketing tips, marketing strategies. No one can provide what I know in my head. And so I still do all the things, but I have help, and I see the repercussions of doing all the things, but it's for a short season.
That's a beautiful realization. And it also goes to show you guys that a lot of this podcast and the things that we share are lessons that we have learned and are learning. You know, some of you guys might be ahead of us. We might be ahead of some of you guys, but it's not a matter of like who knows more. We're sharing the things that we have learned on our journey. And like me and Michelle have both and will also continue to go down the road of like, what impact are we trying to have, and having to step back and be like, is it this or is it that? I got to drop something. Life changes, things happen. But if you enjoyed this episode and you're starting to rethink things a little bit, I encourage you, as soon as you get done and we wrap this up and you finish leaving that 5-star review, I encourage you not to just roll right into the next episode or put on music or do something or start drowning out your thoughts, because right now you're in that state of actually thinking about and questioning, am I doing the right things? Am I helping the right people? Am I working on the things I care about? And it's really hard to get in this mindset because there's so many distractions out there in the world. So take this moment to slow down and to sit with it and to really think about who you're trying to help in this world and how you can do it in a way that serves you emotionally, financially, and in an enjoyable way.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to either write down some of these things, or if you're driving, just like do a quick video thing and just put your phone down, don't look at it, or do a voice memo. Whatever it is, get your thoughts out. Like Nick said, don't put on anything else. Just right now be like, what is it that I enjoy doing and I would do for free? Like, what is the value I could provide for free? And just start with that, because some of these realizations, like knowing what I can only do versus knowing what others are capable of doing, like those are things that are so essential and things I would not have come to my self-realization about had I not stopped, slowed down, quieted all the noise, and really just like let my thoughts come out and process them. So yes, that was great advice, Nick.
I couldn't agree more. I found answers to these things in stillness and in quiet and in thinking, because we'll just keep going, 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 and distractions will eat up our free time. And then all of a sudden you never stop and say, like, what am I doing? What am I building? So that's it, guys. We're going to wrap it up here so you can sit and think about those things. Go real quick. We're trying to get to 50 5-star reviews on Spotify, but also we need more on Apple Podcasts too. So whatever you're listening on, hit that little 5-star button. If you don't have time to type up a review, at least do that. We love you guys so much. All of our links are below. DM me on Instagram if you have an idea as to how we can make this show more valuable for you. We love you, and we'll see you next time.